Okay, so let's get this straight. This isn't going to be one of those the problem with strong female character videos about how women in movies don't know how to cook and clean or some bullshit like that. No, that ain't what the channel's about, my nigga. I'm just gonna be on here bitching and moaning about superheroes that just so happen to be females for 10 minutes straight. It's not gonna get much deeper than that, to be honest. So, let's get into it. She-Hulk. This bitch. Okay, first of all, I've never seen a fucking TV show, but I can already tell you guys that she's going to be the most annoying character in this entire video by far. I couldn't even get past episode 1, to be honest, because the moment I heard her say that bullshit to Hulk's face, I just turned that shit off and went to bed, my G, because nothing good would have come from me being awake with all that anger in my system. Yo, I mean the nerve of this bitch, claiming that she can control her anger more than Bruce fucking Banner. Okay, look, catcalling is a horrible thing to experience, and being spoken to condescendingly isn't fun, but come on, bitch. Bruce Banner tried to unalive himself for fuck's sake. He ate a bullet and the Hulk spat it out. He couldn't date women for the longest time because if he got too excited in bed, he'd literally blow their back out. He got manipulated by a fucking witch and almost demolished an entire city in South Africa. Don't worry, we'll get to that witch bitch soon enough. And that doesn't even include all the bullshit my man had to go through in Infinity War and Endgame. But just because the dumbass writers made it so that she could control her transformations instantly, she had the audacity to say that bullshit to my man Hulk's face. And I don't give a shit if that's how it was in the comics, bro. It makes for horrible storytelling and shitty characterization to just make a protagonist perfect from day one for no reason at all. I also refuse to acknowledge the disrespect to put on my man Daredevil's name because this will just end up turning into a whole ass fuck She-Hulk video, and even though I hate this fucking bitch, nothing will ever make me watch the rest of her shitty ass TV show, even if it's to break it down for you guys in a video. Unless, you know, Patreon votes for me to do a full deep dive on why She-Hulk might just be the worst TV show ever made. But you know, that's just me casually plugging my Patreon. Which, by the way, subscribe to my Patreon in case you didn't see the utility in me randomly bringing it up in the middle of me making a point. It's so you can go subscribe and get access to my video scripts, vote on what video you want to see next, and get a unique name tag beside your name at the end of all my videos. Alright, now to awkwardly transition from that long ass self-plug to the next annoying bitch, I mean lovely lady on our list, the female Thor.
The name is Mighty Thor!
Shut your dumb ass up, bitch. Now, where the fuck do I even start with you? You know, to be honest, I still haven't fully recovered from the 2 hours I spent breaking down Thor 4, so I really don't feel like repeating myself in this video. But this bitch needs to be on this list because she's just the worst in her own special way for all the bullshit She-Hulk put us through. And by us, I mean those of you that were brave enough to watch that entire fucking show from start to finish. At least they titled the show correctly and let us know that this was going to be She-Hulk show off rip. They didn't just title it the Hulk show just to lure us in and hit us with that nasty ass bait and switch bullshit that they've been doing for every project in phase 4. But this female Thor bitch had the audacity to circumvent our boy Thor in his own fucking movie, gratuitously take his fucking hammer, his costume, his name, and the credit for all the good things he did at the end of his own fucking movie. As if all that shit wasn't bad enough, she even tried to gaslight him about why they broke up in the dumbest way possible. Okay, look, I'm already getting PTSD induced headaches just by rehashing all this shit. It's going to be way better for the both of us if you just went and watch my 2-hour breakdown of the movie when you're done here. So let's move on to the next lucky lady on our list. Female Loki. Yet another female version of an established and beloved male superhero in the franchise whose sole purpose is to ridicule, undermine and supplant our male protagonist as the hero of his own fucking story. I'm starting to notice a fucking pattern here, you guys. I really don't know how these women do it, but they just keep finding new ways to outdo each other because female Thor and She-Hulk may have been annoying as fuck, but at least they didn't lead the primary male protagonist around from place to place, dictating the direction of his own show in real time, while our pussy whipped ass protagonist just stood there like a fucking bitch and watched her run his entire show into the ground. What? How? And that's not even counting the bullshit she pulled with He Who Remains when they got to the end of time and he explained that whole situation to them. Now, let it not ever be said that I'm not an equal opportunity critic. If you do some bullshit in a piece of media that I just so happen to watch, then make a video on. I don't give a shit if you have a shaft or a raft. I'm gonna light your ass up for being an intercontinental dumbass on my screen. But this Sylvie bitch must have set feminists back like 50 years with the way she made it her entire mission to embody the stereotype of every woman being irrationally emotional all the time in that Loki season 1 finale, because how in the neurodivergent fuck did you really sit through that whole explanation? Hear him say how he saved the multiverse by eradicating all his evil variants, how he's the only one keeping the sacred timeline together, and that if he died, the multiverse will collapse in on itself and all his evil variants will break loose. Sylvie, darling, come here. How did you hear all that and still decide that killing him was going to be your best and most logical option? Huh? Make it make sense, Shui. And I can't even comment on her antics in season 2 because I couldn't get past episode 2 of that fucking bullshit. I actually do need to make a dedicated Disney Plus MCU TV show video, don't I? Alright, who's next? Fuck! This bitch, you know, unlike everybody else, I don't really care about how overpowered she is because that shit is just a narrative handicap waiting to happen. The problem I have with her is how easily she sucks the life out of any room she's in, with how stoic and tough she tries to carry herself all the time, which by the way is highly indicative of a big ass chip on her shoulder that she's clearly trying so hard to compensate for. As annoying as the other women were, you could at least admire their bubbly personalities to a degree before they opened their mouths and you immediately felt like ripping your eardrums out and smashing whatever screen you were watching. And that's not even an exaggerated joke because I once punched the screen of an old laptop because of how annoying this woman was in this romance film I was watching. Hey, look, I was young, bored, and had nothing better to watch, so don't you dare fucking judge me. Anyway, back to Carol. Putting all her other faults to the side, the single most annoying thing about her is the fact that at the end of her first movie, she promised the Skrulls that she would find them a new home planet to live on. And after 30 years in space doing jack fucking shit, she still didn't live up to her promise, leading the ugly ass Skrulls to take out their frustrations on Nick Fury in the worst rated MCU Disney Plus TV show that nobody, including me, watched since Miss Marvel. It gets even worse when you remember that at the start of Endgame, she was with the Avengers when they found Thanos in a completely uninhabited world. Now, some of you didn't catch that, so I'll say it again. It gets even worse when you remember that at the start of Endgame, she was with the Avengers when they found Thanos in a completely uninhabited world, whose sole residents they just fucking beheaded. So, tell me, what the fuck was stopping Carol from going back to Earth, gathering up all the ugly ass bitch ass Skrulls and simply dropping them off on that planet? Huh? And FYI, I call the Skrulls bitches because they were cooler and way more threatening in the comics. The MCU just nerfed them and turned them all into illegal immigrants. Actual aliens. What? God in heaven. Or, if you want to go by their logic in their dumbass TV show, Secret Invasion, apparently, Rhodey has been a Skrull since Civil War, which means that he also saw the uninhabited planet in Endgame, went back to Earth, didn't inform his Skrull chief commanders about the uninhabited fucking planet whose sole residents they just fucking beheaded, and proceeded to also bitch and moan about Nick Fury not living up to his promise with the rest of his ugly ass, bitch ass, pussy ass, not as cool as they were in the comics as species. But this isn't a video about the MCU's inconsistent world building and prominent continuity errors, so we'll leave Secret Invasion for when I make that dedicated Disney Plus MCU TV show video. I didn't even talk about how that bitch Carol has access to fucking light speed travel and was still unable to find an uninhabited planet for the entire 30 years she spent in space. But I'm done bitching about this fucking overpowered, boring, charisma black hole of a human being. So let's move on to somebody I actually like, seeing as how I just made a whole video documenting how she's actually a pretty chill character. Wanda Maximoff. I mean, I can't really complain about Wanda in good faith because I know very well that any complaints I would have with her would be a result of the shitty writing and characterization that were imposed upon her by the incompetent writing team of Phase 4. Now, some of you may ask, what's the difference between her and the other women on our list, seeing as how they were also simply victims of the dumbass Phase 4 writers? Well, Wanda existed before Phase 4 and she was pretty fucking chill, so we know for a fact that this new bullshit she's on is just her being hungry. She needs a sneaker because she's not herself when she's hungry. Whereas the other lovely ladies on our list were mostly all introduced in Phase 4 and all started out as annoyingly entitled and uncharismatic pieces of shit. So, in essence, all those people Wanda hunted down, killed, slaughtered, possessed, and blackmailed in Multiverse of Madness weren't really her fault. That was all Mephisto. He was the one controlling her and making her do all that crazy shit. So don't you dare accuse my sweet and innocent little Wanda of such atrocities. You guys really gotta do better. Anyway, that's the end of my rant, which means the video is over. Subscribe to my Patreon for access to my video scripts, the ability to decide what video I'm going to make next, and a uniquely personalized name tag beside your name at the end of my videos. And just for getting to the end of the video, here's a whole ass other video I made several months ago that slightly relates to this topic, but not really. Alright, later niggas.
Okay, hit it.
Over the past few years, the MCU has aggressively expanded to include more female heroes, with every new project introducing a new female character ready to overshadow and replace our pre-existing male hero. There was even that whole thing in 2019 when Kevin Feige was pushing Captain Marvel as the next face of the MCU and the most powerful Avenger, until our movie came out and it was completely hated by all the fans, all the way from the movie to the character to the actress herself. Then she slowly got pushed to the side and even got demoted to a supporting character in her own second movie. Ouch. The same movie that had been postponed close to to 5 times at this point. It's completely possible to have male and female heroes coexisting on the big screen, something we've had for decades now, contrary to what the MCU would like you to believe. So the problem isn't with all the new female heroes. The problem starts when you feel the need to undermine our legacy male heroes in order to lift up the new female characters. You can pick a random male character in the whole of Phase 4 and I'll show you 3 different ways he was emasculated in order to elevate a new female character. But for the purposes of this video, I've selected 5 characters that I'll use to properly communicate my message. Let's begin. Loki was one of the best villains in the MCU all the way back in Phase 1. He was a ruthless, mischievous, power-hungry narcissist that would betray anybody, including his own family, just to get what he wanted. This made him one of the few highlights of the first Thor movie and a very memorable villain in the first Avengers movie. He learned to become a better person over the course of several movies and ended up sacrificing himself to save the universe in Infinity War. Now, cut to Phase 4 and we have a new Loki, the same one from the very first Avengers movie that escaped in Endgame. The same guy that was ready to enslave all of humanity literally 5 minutes ago. The same power-hungry narcissist that just a few days ago painfully extracted a man's eye right out of his socket with an amusing smile on his face. They took that guy and showed him a compilation of his entire character arc over the course of 6 years, and by some sort of dark, mystical, Asgardian, Wingardium Levioso sorcery, he now becomes this good guy that's willing to help save the multiverse as he seems for a female variant of himself and just aimlessly follows her as she drives the plot of his own freaking TV show. Nice. Thor was a stoic and all-powerful hero that instilled fear and terror in his enemies the moment he stepped on the battlefield. He started out as an arrogant, hot-headed, self-centered man-child that eventually grew to be a more level-headed hero that took responsibility for the safety of his people, the people of Earth, and the universe at large. They made him funny in Ragnarok, which was fine because he was now a relatable fan favorite and his movies were actually profitable and enjoyable. They found the perfect balance between funny and stoic in Infinity War. Then they threw it all away in Endgame by making him fat simply for jokes. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they turned him into a complete clown that apparently forgot all the character development he got over the years and just regressed into this incompetent parody of himself that destroyed property for literally no reason, made a joke out of every single thing, and simply refused to stop simping over Jane when she was always the one falling head over heels for him in previous movies. And of course, she was already far better than him at being Thor in the few days she had the hammer than he ever was in his almost 2,000 years of being himself. Nice. Very nice. Ant-Man goes from being this competent, cunning, agile, fast on his feet and smooth with his words technician with a master's degree in electrical engineering in his first movie to being the punchline of all the jokes in his second movie to being constantly harassed by his entire family in his third movie for not doing enough to help out after he literally just went back in time and fought an alien army with the Avengers for the fate of the whole world and won. His own daughter is now infinitely smarter than him after reading a few notes from Hank Pym. He constantly needs his girlfriend to save him throughout the movie and he couldn't even defeat Kang until she delivered the final blow and rescued him from the quantum realm. This is nice, right? This is so nice. Isn't it so nice? Hulk went from being this raging, powerful, fearless beast of a character in the first 2 Avengers films to being an actual baby in Ragnarok to essentially being killed off in Endgame when Bruce starts wearing his shrunken body like some sort of costume after he was completely humiliated in Infinity War. As if all that wasn't enough. As if literally killing off Hulk's consciousness wasn't enough. They put him in She-Hulk and had him sit there while Jennifer, or whatever her name is, proceeded to undermine every single meaningful and painful experience both Bruce and Hulk had in the past 15 years as he smiled and agreed with her. Nice. Very nice. So nice. Doctor Strange was this competent, intelligent and resourceful master of the mystic arts that set in motion the plan that would eventually save the entire universe from Thanos in Infinity War. He was so vigilant that he kept a watch list of individuals and beings from other realms that could be a threat to the world. He was so smart that he trapped Dormammu in an endless time loop and was courageous enough to sacrifice his life infinite times over just to keep him from enslaving the whole world. We cut to Phase 4 and he just allows Wanda to literally enslave an entire town in his metaphorical backyard with very detectable dark magic for days on end. Okay, he's now too incompetent to tell Spider-Man to wait outside while he casts an incredibly dangerous spell that he was warned not to cast. Okay, he gets sidelined in his own movie with Wanda essentially running the show and driving the plot with him just reacting to whatever she does, and at the end finds out that he's basically an incel in every single multiverse. Isn't this just nice, guys? I apologize for, deafening you guys, but Yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna stop here. I can do this all day with a dozen more characters, but you get the point. Now, being a man with a solution-oriented mind, I can't just make a video where I complain for 5 minutes and not provide any type of solution to the problem I'm complaining about. Marvel needs to stop trying to make women look as cool as men and instead put all their effort back into telling good, compelling stories with relatable characters that go on painstaking journeys as they try to overcome their shortcomings, eventually rise to the occasion and come out at the end as a better person in one way or another. You know, exactly how they've been doing it for years before they decided to gender swap and race bait the entire MCU. Anyway, click right here.